Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm live. Just gonna get things set up, and we'll be ready to go. Could have actually started, but I decided to start later because today is actually the trade deadline in the NFL. The time for the deadline just popped up, so thought it'd be a good time to go live instead of doing it while the deadline's going on. And even though I will probably have something out tomorrow for the college football weekly rankings, wanted to get everything out today with the deadline. Hope everyone's day is going well. Hope everything's going well. And if you couldn't tell the thumbnail was include everything because I made it prior to realizing that the trade deadline was today. So, but I am starting to do thumbnails for every episode now. Almost ready to go. Sorry about that. Just gotta get one more thing set up and we'll be ready to go. Okay, let's begin. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's episode of Benny and Booth Podcast. On this week's episode, we've got the World Series update, which is up through the first two games. We've got NBA standings update. We've got NFL Week 8 recap, 9 predictions, and NFL trade deadline to go over that went crazy in every sort of direction. Plus college football with a huge game coming up this weekend. And then news about the college football playoff rankings. All coming up. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 52 of the Benny in the Booth podcast. Thank you so much for the support to this point. I very much do appreciate it. We've got a loaded episode this week. Also, other news, it's back to the college football playoff ranking system. So just like last year, I'm going to have a separate video either tomorrow or Thursday with the rankings that will be coming out tonight. That probably start around 7 on ESPN. Should be interesting. I'll give an idea of at least what they will look at the start, but there's a huge game this weekend in college football. A huge game. It's not even an Ohio State game. They've got an interesting one themselves, but a big-time game that could really do some damage in the rankings. And we'll get to that in a moment. So let's actually start with football, since that's a hot topic, especially with the trade deadline just having passed today. And let's actually start off with the trade deadline. My, oh my, have there been a bunch of trades since the last episode of the podcast. Excuse me. The Bears traded Robert Quinn to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 2023 fourth-round pick. The Giants, out of nowhere, traded Kadarius Toney to the Chiefs for a third-round pick this year, third-round compensatory draft pick, and a sixth-round draft pick of this coming draft. The Bears traded Roquan Smith to the Ravens for A.J. Klein, a second-round pick, and a fifth-round pick this year. T.J. Hawkinson traded from the Vikings to the Lions along with a fourth-round pick and a conditional fourth-round pick next year for a second-round pick this year and a third-round pick next year, which that's going to help the Vikings a lot, especially with how good they are right now. Chase Claypool traded to the Bears, joining former Notre Dame teammate Cole Kmet from the Steelers for this year's second-round draft pick. Williams Jackson III, corner for the Steelers, along with the conditional seventh-round pick in 2025, was traded to the Steelers for 2025 conditional sixth-round pick. Sorry, I mixed that up for a moment. Broncos traded Bradley Chubb and a 2025 fifth-round pick to the Dolphins for Chase Edmonds, a first-round pick this year and a fourth-round pick next year. Calvin Ridley going for from the Falcons to the Jaguars was still suspended for a conditional fifth-round pick this year and a conditional second-round pick next year. The Jets traded Jacob Martin and a next year fifth-round pick to the Broncos for a fourth-round pick next year. And Nyheim Hines was traded. I have not seen the full details to that trade, though. I'll keep on looking for that. But those are the trades. So the Browns didn't end up making any. The Packers didn't make any. A bunch of teams did not make any trades. Let's see if there's any latest. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else really. Sometimes you'll get like a last second trade, but not seeing anything here. But yeah, that's pretty much the stories of the deadline. Well, let me see if I can find what the details to this trade is. He's getting traded to the Bills for Zach Moss, 6th-round pick that could go to a fifth, and a 6th-round pick that could go to a fifth round pick this year. That is the details for Nyheim Hines. But yeah, Bills they're definitely a very interesting trade deadline. But let's go. So now that we've gone over the trade deadline part, let's go over what happened this past week. Week 8. Panthers, Falcons. Panthers missed game-winning extra point thanks to over-celebrating a game-tying touchdown regulation by DJ Moore. He basically took off his helmet, which was a no-no, backed up the extra point. He missed it. The kicker also missed a field goal that would have given them the lead. But instead, the Falcons went on a game-winning field goal, 37-34, in overtime over the Carolina Panthers. The Commanders beat the Colts 17-16 in quote-unquote Carson Wentz's revenge game without, as I put it, though, because it's in quote-unquote, because without Carson Wentz. Christian McCaffrey threw 34-yarder to Brandon Ayuk, ran for 1 yard, and caught 9 yards from Jimmy Garoppolo, a touchdown in 31-14 Niners win over the Rams. 4th player to do so since 1970, and first since LaDainian Tomlinson in 2005. First player with 30 pass yards, 30 rush yards, and 30 receiving yards in a game since he did it himself in 2018. And last night's game, which I got my prediction wrong, McPherson missed a field goal and an extra point. Burrow had a tip pick early, had a strip sack fumble, sacked 5 times. Bengals just looked like a mess. Cade York missed a field goal but made the rest of his kicks. Amari Cooper, after trying out a trick play to get a pass off through an interception, came back as he went off the entire game, including a touchdown and a great catch. Brissett bad in the first half, but came back in the second half as the Browns spanked the Bengals 32-13. Burrow is still winless against the Browns in his career, 0-4. Actually, funny enough, I had seen his exact career stats against the Browns. Well, I gotta find this tweet. Here we go. Against the Browns, 0-4, 4 picks, 7 fumbles, and 17 sacks. That's not good, especially with how he's been in general. The fact that he's got that against the Browns, not a good sign at all. So predictions this week, I actually did pretty good, going 9-6. And overall this year with predictions, I'm 72-49-1. Standings update in the NFL, AFC East, Bills still in first place of 6-1, followed by 5-3 Jets and 5-3 Dolphins, followed by the 4-4 Patriots. And AFC North, Ravens in first place at 5-3, followed by the 4-4 Bengals, followed by the 3-5 Browns, followed by the 2-6 Steelers. AFC South, Titans in first place at 5-2, followed by the 3-4-1 Colts, followed by the 2-6 Jaguars, followed by the 1-5-1 Texans. AFC West, Chiefs in first place at 5-2, followed by the 4-3 Chargers, followed by the 3-5 Broncos, followed by the 2-5 Raiders. NFC, that's AFC standings. NFC standings. NFC East, Eagles in first place still at 7-0, followed by the 6-2 Cowboys and 6-2 Giants, followed by the 4-4 Commanders. For NFC North, Vikings in first place at 6-1, followed by the 3-5 Packers, followed by the 3-5 Bears, followed by the 1-6 Lions. AFC South, Falcons in first place at 4-4, followed by the 3-5 Buccaneers and Saints, followed by the 2-6 Carolina Panthers, and then the NFC West, I almost said Mariners. Seahawks in first place at 5-3, followed by the 4-4 Niners, followed by 3-4 Rams and Cardinals. So this week's predictions: Thursday night football. The same time, there's going to be Philly and Houston football and baseball, both teams playing each other at the same night. I have Philly winning that game, though, in football department. I'm focusing on the football department for these predictions, obviously. Chargers at Falcons, I have the Chargers. Dolphins at Bears, I have the Dolphins. Panthers at Bengals, I have the Bengals. Packers at Lions, I have the Lions. Colts at Patriots, I have the Patriots. Bills at Jets, I have the Bills. Vikings at Commanders, I have the Vikings. Raiders at Jaguars, I have the Raiders. Cardinals hosting the Seahawks, I have the Seahawks. Rams at Buccaneers, I have the Buccaneers. Chiefs at hosting the Titans, I have the Chiefs. And then Monday Night Football, Ravens at New Orleans, I have the Ravens. That's my week 9 predictions as the Browns are on bye this week, so I won't be like as much on into football this week, but still keep an eye out. College football. So obviously, as I said again, the rankings are tonight, as it's going to be the first college football playoff rankings coming out tonight. And I'll do a video hopefully tomorrow or Thursday on the rankings. But at least for what happened in week 9, in a game where number 13 Penn State had the lead at points of the game, number 2 Ohio State sealed it on 14 unanswered points, including a JT Tuimoloau 14-yard pick six to seal the deal in a 44-31 Ohio State win over Penn State. Number 3 Tennessee hammered number 19 Kentucky 44-6. Number 4 Michigan beating Michigan State 29-7, including an after-game altercation between a whole bunch of Michigan State players and one Michigan player. Number 22 Kansas State shut out number 9 Oklahoma State 48-0. Notre Dame beat number 16 Syracuse 41-24. UCF beat number 20 Cincinnati 25-21. And Missouri beat number 25 South Carolina 23-10. And the big game for this week, that's a recap for week 9. Big game for this week, which is sadly going to be on Shabbos mostly, is Tennessee, number 2 Tennessee, facing number 1 Georgia at Georgia, 3:30 p.m. I think it's on CBS. I believe the game is, or at least most of the SEC games are on there, or SEC Network. Let's see. But that is a big headline for college football this week. Ohio State's playing with Northwestern. Yeah, it's on CBS. Doesn't surprise me. But that is college football. So the World Series. Well, original plan was that there was going to be 3 games to go over. Except last night's game got postponed, and we'll get to the schedule update in a moment. So World Series Game 1, the Astros jump out 5-0 early on the back of Kyle Tucker 2-homer game, solo home run, and a 3-run homer. But they blew it completely by like the 5th. And thanks to a JT Realmuto go-ahead home run in the 10th inning, the Phillies come back to beat the Astros in Game 1, 6-5 in 10 innings. Vladimir Diaz leaned into a pitch to try to get a hit by a pitch, but instead was called out for it. 2 pitches later was the final out of the game, which he was so clearly leaned into the pitch. Game 2, Astros jumped out ahead and never looked back. 3 straight doubles to take a 2-0 lead. They got a 3rd run on an error, and they never looked back, capturing Game 2 5-2. It got a bit dicey in the 9th, but not enough to make a comeback. And then, obviously, as I said, Game 3 was postponed. So Game 3 is actually tonight, 8 o'clock on Fox. Lance McCullers will be going for the Astros. Ranger Suarez will be going for the Phillies. Game 4 will be on Wednesday. Javier for the Astros, Nola for the Phillies. Same time, same network for all these games. Thursday, and then the rest of this year, Thursday will be Game 5. Same time, pitching matchup's not been announced. Friday will be an off day. Saturday will be Game 6 if needed, and Sunday will be Game 7 if needed. That is the update on the World Series. From there, we'll see what happens. I'm still sticking to Astros. Oh, yeah, one thing I should know that happened since last episode. Oh, my. Yeah, I believe it was either yesterday or 2 days ago. The Astros were, yesterday, because it would have been before Game 3. The Astros were pulling into Citizens Bank Park where the Phillies play. I've been there, by the way, great ballpark. And Justin Verlander, as he put it, decided to give the Philly fans their friendly gesture they give to people, and gave a couple of fans a middle finger. But no one really knows what happened. Like, there's videos, but like his brother Ben Verlander, who works for Fox, tried explaining it. Doesn't completely make sense. Then you have the tweet but even he had like talked to his brother. Like, no one knows what truly happened. We just have that video, but weird story. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, that's the update on baseball. And then NBA still doing just standings update because I still gotta figure out how I want to do NBA. Yeah. So the NBA standings update. Oh boy. Well, it turns out Brandon Cooks is now happy about not being traded. Makes sense. NBA standings: Bucks in first, 8 in the East. Bucks in first place, 6-0 on a 6-game win streak. Followed by the Cavs, 5-1 on a 5-game win streak. Followed by the Celtics, 4-2 on a 1-game win streak. They actually play each other tomorrow night. Followed by a tie for fourth place between the Raptors and the Hawks, both at 4-3. Raptors on a 1-game win streak. Hawks on a 2-game losing streak, followed by the 76ers at 4-4 on a 3-game win streak, followed by the Knicks 3-3 on a 2-game losing streak, followed by a three-way tie for 8th place between the Wizards, Bulls, and Hornets, all 3-4. Wizards on a 3-game losing streak, Bulls on a 2-game losing streak, and Hornets on a 1-game losing streak. Followed by the Pacers in 11th place, 3-5 on a 1-game losing streak. Followed by a 2-way tie for 12th between the Nets and the Heat, 2-5. Nets on a 1-game win streak, Heat on a 2-game losing streak. The Nets and the Bulls played tonight, actually, among the other games. Pistons in 14th, followed by the Pistons, 2-6 on a 1-game losing streak. Followed by the Magic, 1-6 on a 1-game losing streak. That's the East. For the West, Trailblazers, 2-way tie between the Blazers and the Suns for first place, both 5-1. Blazers on a 1-game win streak, Suns on a 4-game win streak. Followed by a 2-way tie for third place between the Jazz and the Spurs. Oh, wait, sorry. Jazz are in third place. 6-2 on a 2-game win streak, followed by the Spurs 5-2 on a 2-game win streak, followed by a 4-way tie for fifth place. Fifth place being the Pelicans. I don't know what is going on with is the Pelicans 4-2 ending on a 1-game win streak, followed by a 3-way tie for fifth place between the Timberwolves, Nuggets, and Grizzlies, all 4-3. Timberwolves and Nuggets are on 1-game losing streak. The Grizzlies are on a 2-game losing streak. Oh boy. Followed by a 2-way tie for 9th place between the Thunder and the Mavericks, both 3-3. Thunder on a 3-game win streak, Mavericks on a 1-game win streak. Followed by the Warriors, 3-4 on a 2-game losing streak. Followed by the Clippers, 3-4 on a 1-game losing win streak. Followed by the Kings, 2-4 on a 2-game win streak. Followed by the Lakers, 1-5 on a 1-game win streak. Followed by the Rockets, 1-7 on a 4-game losing streak. And then tonight's schedule: Bulls at Nets, 7:30 on TNT. Warriors at Heat at 7:30. Magic at Thunder at 8. And then Timberwolves at Suns at 10 on TNT. That is tonight's NBA schedule, and that is pretty much this week's episode of the podcast. Hopefully tomorrow or at some point later this week, I will put out a video in terms of the college football playoff rankings that come out tonight. First rankings of the year. But let's wrap it up otherwise. Thank you so much for coming back for this week's episode of Benny in the Booth podcast. On next week's episode, we'll have NFL Week 9 to go over. And we tend to give predictions for, we'll have NBA talk, we'll have college football week, not 10, talking about the Tennessee-Georgia game and others. We'll have, plus, and obviously the World Series, which could be over by that. Well, actually, probably will be over no matter what. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new here on YouTube, subscribe down below. Hit the notification button so you're notified when I go live and or post a video. If you are listening via some audio source that the podcast is on, follow on there, leave a review, and hit the notification button so you're notified when I post on there, which is soon after go live. I'm gonna go live on YouTube or post on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next week for episode 53. Bye-bye!